I don't think that there's a person in the country that has been more critical of Woolworths and Coles over so many years that I have. But yet when I see today our Prime Minister, Mr. Albanese, talk about wanting to impose price controls and some type of price gouging laws, I just shake my head.
Labor will make supermarket price gouging illegal, so you're not paying more than you should. Taking advantage of people when there's not enough competition is just not on. Right now, there are no laws against excessive pricing, but we have your back and we're going to fix it, so you get a fair deal at the checkout.
Authorised by Anthony Albanese, LPK.
These ideas of anti-price gouging laws are the last refuge of a failed socialist. And we've heard it all before. Remember our friends over in the socialist paradise of Venezuela? Well, Albanese could have very well been channeling them today.
Declaring war on price speculators, President Nicolas Maduro is asking Venezuela's National Assembly to grant him special powers to enact strict price controls for most products in the economy.
Once the enabling law is approved in the National Assembly, I will place percentage limits on profit margins in all branches of the economy, of Venezuelan production, and on the entire national economy. Obligatory profit percentage limits.
Obligatorios, como funciona en todos los países del mundo.
Maduro's move comes as his government has taken the offensive on what they call an economic war waged by producers and store owners. Last weekend, Venezuela's National Guard seized numerous electronics and appliance stores, forcing the owners to cut prices on many of their products by more than half. But many economists say the government's strict price and currency controls are responsible for an annual inflation rate that reached 54% in October, a 16-year high.
In light of declining poll numbers, Venezuela's opposition has accused Maduro of using these government seizures to buy up votes for his party ahead of key municipal elections next month.
But not everyone is happy with the new price controls. After waiting 16 hours in line, Raquel Flores found most of the products sold out, while what was left in stock had the same prices as before.
We came in and there was nothing. It's all a lie, because everything else has not gone down in price. They have to be clearer with us. They lie to us, so we vote for him again in December.
Maduro has promised that in the coming days, his government would start inspecting prices in other retail sectors, including clothing stores and car dealerships, using tactics that soon might be the law of the land.
Everywhere we have seen throughout history where such price gouging laws or price control laws have been implemented, even going back to the Roman Empire, every single time they have been deployed, they've always come up with the same results. Shortages, black markets, corruption, economic stability. They led to a path to economic ruin, widespread hunger and misery. Just look at the disaster that has happened in Venezuela as an example of what happens when a government implements price controls and government bureaucrats think that they know better than the market to set prices. We've seen in Venezuela absolute shocking scenes of empty supermarkets, widespread poverty, and people even having to resort to the animals in the zoo because of the collapse of the food production system in that country. Here we've had today other Labor members, such as Tanya Plezovic, putting out tweets such as this, just simply dishonest and deceitful, to say that we're fixing it. Even the ACCC in their recent grocery inquiry could not give one example of so-called price gouging. So that's my question to Mr. Albanese and to Ms. Plezovic. Please give me one example. Now, supermarkets, there's millions of transactions that occur every day, so it must be very easy for you to come up with just one example of this alleged price gouging, why you think the price is overly inflated, and what you think or what some government bureaucrat thinks the actual price should be. Look, the truth of the matter is Albanese is implementing this so-called policy this press release, because he is trying to distract from the reason why Australians are suffering from such high supermarket price inflation, and it's all got to do with his failed policies on net zero. As we drive the cost of energy up, that cost of energy goes throughout the production chain. The supermarkets have enormous electricity bills with their refrigerators and their lighting. You've got the food manufacturers, also very big users of electricity and energy. So as the cost of energy goes up, with the madness, the insanity of net zero, that passes through to the supply chain, that pushes up prices. And instead of Albanese dealing with that consequence, he's out running this game of smoke and mirrors, depending he can fix the problem with his so-called price regulations or anti-price gouging, price controls that he's come up with. Albanese's policy will fail like every other time a socialist government has come in and tried to adopt these policies. And then we come to the Liberal Party of Australia. We've had Albanese out in the media today coming up with these nonsense socialist, failed socialist policies of price controls. And we haven't had one person from the Liberal Party out there rebutting them, saying how ridiculous they are, saying how these are the failed policies of Venezuela. Not one single Liberal Party member has been saying anything, except we've had one Liberal MP, their so-called spokesman on this issue, saying he agrees and he'd be happy to bring in price control regulation. What has happened to the Liberal Party if they can't come out and strongly argue the case against price regulation? Well, at the Libertarian Party, we have a different approach. The best way to keep downward pressure on supermarket prices is to allow the market to work. We've got it. The best way to do it is not more regulation, but less regulation. We've got to enable easy access to the market of supermarkets. So the simple regulation or non-regulation should be is that any competing supermarket should be able to set up on any parcel of land adjacent to an existing Woolworths or Coles store. I'm sure there are many overseas supermarkets that look at the profits of Woolworths and Coles with envy and would like to come and move into the Australian market, because that's how a free market works. The high profits of Woolworths and Coles should send an incentive to other entrants to come and enter into the Australian market, but they can't because of the restrictive land uses that we have. It is government regulation giving protection to Woolworths and Coles. We've got to get rid of that regulation and allow any supermarket that wants to come and set up business here in Australia. They should be able to open up next door to any existing Woolworths or Coles supermarket, and the land usage restrictions have to be lifted to enable that to happen. That is the best response to fix supermarket prices. Not these failed socialist policies that Albanese has come up to that will only make supermarket prices in Australia go higher.